Hello friends, welcome back to Systematic Automation. Hope you guys are doing excellent, enjoying your job. If you're at home, having good time with your family. Well, a lot of my students, they're having a common question about different types of PLC used in industry. So they wanted to know how is it differs from PLC to PLC by product name, from product to product. So remember, all these PLCs basically work on same concept. Every PLC will have some inputs, one processor, then physical outputs. So depending on the kind of logic you write in the PLC program, it takes the input signals, then process it, and depending on the logic what you have written, it produces the outputs. This is common on all the PLCs. So the only difference PLC to PLC is the kind of hardware, the features in those PLCs. Like Siemens will have some features and some other PLC will have better features than Siemens, likewise. So, and cost, the main factor is the cost. Some PLC for your specific application, the cost is the most important. Then you have to go for the cheaper version of PLCs. If you have a complex machine programming, then you will not compromise on cost. You need a better control. So these are all the factors wherein you will have to choose the PLCs. To basically make you understand in better way, I'm starting this session named PLC versus PLC. So in this session, what I'm going to do is comparing one type of PLC with other type of PLCs and how the programming is done, how the functioning is done on these two different PLCs. Today, I'm going to take a session on PLC to PLC between Siemens and Omron. So Omron also is a good product used worldwide, likewise Siemens. So let's quickly start doing this. So Siemens, the software used in Siemens is called TIA Portal. TIA stands for Totally Integrated Automation. That's what is TIA stands for. So I'll start TIA Portal here, and then we'll start creating the projects for this. Once I start my TIA Portal, let's see how it comes up with the start screen. So this is my start screen. Here I have to create the project and all. Same way, what I'll do, I'll start software for Omron. The software used for programming Omron PLCs is CX Programmer. So this is the software. So see, these are the two initial screens. This is my CX program and this is my TIA Portal. So let's start creating a new project for these applications. So I will say create new project. I'll have to give a name for this. I'll say Omron versus Siemens. So I'll create this. I will say create here. So it's creating a project by name Omron versus Siemens. Okay, this is what it is now. So same way, I'll go back to CX program. For this, I'll say either I can click here, new, or file, new. Now I'll say here Siemens versus Omron, the opposite side. So please note, now it is asking me some more settings here. It's asking me what type of device are you planning to use. So So because in my institute here we have Omron CP1E PLC controller, so I'll use this. Then it is asking network type, so it is USB. So if some of the PLC they might be having Ethernet port, then it will ask me, it will give the option of changing. So I can give the comment here, difference between Omron and Siemens. I can do this again. In device type, there is a setting here. What kind of a device? In CP1E device type, there are different types of CPUs. So you have to choose type of CPU, which type of CPU you intend to use. For now, I'm using E20. That is the controller I have here in Systematic Automation. So I'll say OK for this. Once I say OK, then I'll say OK again. The name Siemens is not legal name. See, now it is telling me Siemens Vs Omron is not a legal name. Why? Because I cannot use space in between the characters. So what I can do, Siemens _ Omron. Say OK for this. It will create a project. Note that it has come up with a screen where I can start building my logic here. In TIA portal, we are still here. We are not done anything, right? So for me to start creating the logic, I'll have to go into project view. This is my project view. If I click on project view, that's the time it lets me do the programming session. So this is my screen. Here, unlike my CX programmer, wherein it asked me for the type of PLC, module type and all to begin with, here it did not ask me. I have to come and separately add the devices. So for that, I'll say add new device, controller S7-1200, CPU 1215C DC, and this, then set proper versions and all, then you say OK for this. Once that is done, my device is created in my project now. Right. So once that project is created, then I can go to program blocks. Here I'll have to double click on main OP1, right? So here I can start writing the program. See, it says PLC1 here. I can rename this PLC. I can always rename this PLC. So I would say Omron versus Siemens. See, I've intentionally put space here to see if it accepts that name. If I say OK, it accepts that name. So in Siemens, you can have a space in between two characters. So now, OP1, this is my OPN. This is where you write the logic. Now let's go to CX program. To write the logic, what I need is a no contact. I'll have to click, and once I click and I bring it here, then I'll have to click it here again. Now, if I want to use my physical inputs in Omron PLCs, all the physical inputs have fixed address. Like inputs, all the inputs start with an address 0.00. It starts with the address 0.00. Please remember this. Then I say OK. Then I can put the comments here like start push button, right? And say OK. Then I want an output coil. This is output coil. I'll click here and then click here. It will say the output addressing in Omron PLC always starts with 100.00. Right? Then it say motor. I say See, now my cursor is locked with output coil. How to get rid of this? I'll have to press escape key on my laptop. So it is gone now. The moment I take any of these contacts, my cursor changes to that particular way. So to get rid of this, I have to press escape. Note that the moment I pressed 0.00, it automatically named I stands for input. For 100.00, it created Q, that is output. Let's do this in TIA Portal. In TIA Portal, same thing here. I can click here. The moment you click, one yellow contact appears here. So here I can give, I'll have to mention here that if I am using input or memory bits or outputs, so inputs are designated by a letter I, outputs by Q, memories by M. So I'll have to write I 0.0, right? What, let's see, if I say only 0.0, it is not, the data type needs to be defined, whether it is an input or output or memory or what. So for that I have to say this is input 0.0, right? Then note that it did not ask me the comments when I entered it. So I'll have to manually go right click, rename tag. I'll say start push button. Now it has changed to start push button. I click here, then I use output coil. The output is always, like if I press here 100.0, it will not take it, right? So what I have to say, Q 0.0. It did not ask me for the tag name, so I'll have to manually go rename tag. What I'll say, motor. So that is simple, straightforward, simple, right? Now going back to, I will add one more input here on the next. This is network 0, network 1. On network 1, I will add one more input, right? I'll say 0.01, and this time I will not put any comments. See, it comes up saying that I 0.01. Then I will change, I'll put one output and I will say 100.01, no comments. So this came up with Q 100.0, Q 100.00. So I'll say escape. Now how to name it? I can either double click and give the comments, or there is one more way you can do it. What I have to do is symbols, series symbols, right click on this and IO comments. So it comes up with all these comments. Like for example, if I put here motor, wait, double click here, motor 1 start, right? Then I have to search for Q 100. So I'll go to 100 here, look for 100. Where is my 100? The 100 starts from here, motor, right? The 100.0, motor 2. I'll say motor 2. Then if I go back to select section 1, it automatically changed. It changed to motor 1 start and motor 2. Right? Same way in TIA Portal, if I put one more contact, I'll say I 0.1 and then output Q 0.1. So I don't want to right click and give the names here. So for that, what I can do, I'll have to go to PLC tags. Let's see, where are the PLC tags? PLC tags, then show all tags. Similar screen comes up. So I 0.1, it says tag 1. I'll say motor 1 start, right? And for this I'll say motor 2, right? Then let's go back to OB1 and see all these names appeared here, right? Similar to CX1 CX programmer for Omron. Once this is done, there is an option you can either download this program to your physical PLC, or just to test it, what we can use something called simulators. So in this CX1 programmer, there is a simulation wherein you don't need physical PLCs here. You can work offline to check that the program what you have written is as per your planned logic. So what I have to do, simulation, click on simulation, work online simulator. I'll say work on simulator. The simulator starts on its own. So see that it is downloading everything into the simulator now. Same way in TIA portal, if you want to test it offline, there is something called simulator, start simulation. So once I start simulation, say okay. See, the simulator, physical simulator has started here. Once it starts, it will start downloading the program to the simulator. Okay. Then say load. Then you start the PLC from here. Finish. Right. So I'll minimize this. So now to monitor this PLC here, see, the moment I downloaded the PLC program, it just downloaded. It is not monitoring anything. Whereas in CX programmer, the moment I downloaded the program, it started monitoring my inputs. See the green line here? It is monitoring my physical PLC program now. In TIA portal, it is different. Now what you have to do, to see what is the status of inputs and outputs, you have to click on one specs, small little specs here. It says monitoring on and off. If I click on here, that's the time it will start monitoring this program. See, now the green line is still here, green line is still here, similar, green line. So it is waiting for this push button to be pressed so that you'll get the output, same way. Now in Omron, what I can do, I can right click on this input and then I can force it on. The moment I force it on, my output is latched to on condition, right? And then I'll do force and off. The force is gone, the output is off. But see, there's one little vanity kind of symbol here because I'm in force condition with this input. So to clear that, what I will do, force, cancel all force. So force is gone, right? Similarly, if I do this, force, and you can force it. There's one more option called set on. It will set it on or set it off. Note that now that symbol of little vanity has not come here. So I'm only setting on or setting off this input. Okay. So let's see this function in TIA portal. If I do, if I right click that button, then I can modify the position, modify the state of that particular input. So if I say modify to 0, this is same as from NO to NC, NC to NO. So if I want to do modify to 1, it will not allow me to modify it to 1 because this is physical input. If it was a memory bit, I could easily monitor it. Let's quickly do that. For example, if I do no contact here again, then close the branch, I'll say yum, which is memory bit 0.0. Right? Then I'll have to download this, change the program to the PLC, then monitor. See, this I wanted to modify to 1. I cannot modify this to 1 because this is physical input. But this memory, this being memory, I can modify it to 1. So once I modify, it becomes on, my output is on. and if I say modify to 0, it goes off. Toggling the input, physical input in TIA portal is not straightforward. But always you can do this. How? I'll show that. So if I really want to toggle this to on, what I have to do, I'll have to force it. So for that, what you have to do, you have to go into watch and force table. You have to create a force table here. So I'll have to create force table here, right? Then let's split this window here. This is my data diagram. Now in this, what address I wanted to force? I 0.0. Right? So this is the point I wanted to force. Now, what is the force value I want to force it to? From on to off. Off is false, on is true. I'll put true here. Then once a monitor starts monitoring it, I'll have to monitor it here also. Then I will say force. See that? Force, red color force. So I click force. It is giving me a warning that you are trying to force some input. Say yes for this. Right? So now this has become forced. And one F letter is appearing on here in red mark. If I remove the force, if I have to remove the force, I can remove the force from here. Right? Remove the force. Yes, I want to remove the force. The force is gone. I want to put the force. Yes, I want to. The force is on. This is how you do the force. Similarly, right? Now, the next address is I 0.1. Right? So I want to force it as well. Right? See these check marks here. If I uncheck this and then I do force, it is not letting me do any force. Only once I do the check on here, I can force it. It says yes, right? Then I'll remove force. Now while removing the force, which force you want to remove? Only this one. I wanted to maintain this force. Only this force I wanted to unforce. So if I say unforce, yes. So this is unforced. This is still in force because I had checked it. So if I click here, sorry, both forces have gone. Sorry. Now I don't check this. I'll check only this one and do the force. See if I 0.0 goes to force. Let's see. If I click force, say yes, say that only that particular input has gone to force. This one is not in force. Right? I can individually force it one by one. Okay, this is how the force is working. The moment I remove force, all the force is gone. All my physical inputs are gone from force. So this is how you write the PLC program in Omron and one in TIA portal. Hope this basics is good for you to understand the difference of writing the program. The rest of program is you explore, like using the timers. For example, using the timers in TIA portal is you'll have to go to instruction. You got all this drop down here, wherein you can use general, bit logic, timers, counters, comparators, math function. So for example, if I want to use timer, TP pulse timer, I have to click and drag it here. It will appear here. So it creates the timer logic here. You can give its inputs and make that timer work. Same way in here, if I want to add one more contact here, it will not allow me to do it, right? Because I am in online with simulator. Unlike in PLC, right? I'm able to do it, right? So if I delete it, I'm I can still monitor this. I'll download this program, changed program, load, and then I can monitor it. So when I'm in monitoring, while I'm monitoring, I still can add any contact here, right? It adds. So automatically the monitoring goes off. Like in Omron PLCs, you cannot do that. If I want to add one contact, it will not allow me to add contact. So what I have to do, I have to stop simulation. Work online simulator, I'll have to stop it. Once I stop, I can go add any input 0.01, right? Again, same input. I can use same input or change the input. Now I escape. Then here are the different instructions. There are a huge number of instructions in this also. So if I click on instructions, right, I can define the instruction names here. So unlike in TIA portal, these instructions are categorized. In here in Omron PLCs, you have to define the type of instruction what you're using. Okay, so you start working with these basics, then you can explore on how to add timers, counters, everything on your own. If you don't understand, you can always message me so I can show you the different ways of adding these timers, counters, all these functions in CX Programmer also. Hope you understood the basics of programming in CX Programmer for Omron, and then programming in TIA portal of Siemens. So if you want to know in-depth programming, you can always join our online classes. We do conduct online classes for diploma or engineering students on your convenient time. So do message us on the WhatsApp number or email your requirement to us. We will be happy to get back to you to suit your schedules to conduct online classes. Thank you very much for watching this video. Wait for further videos which will come up for Siemens courses. Maybe we will take Schneider in next class. Thank you very much for watching.